12.5 times more. 12.5 times more. But what's it gonna taste like? Hello everybody, hey Mrs. B.
Hi.
High five. She's my wife. Welcome to the latest cheap versus steep video. Literally the same recipe, like for like, from a budget supermarket and then more expensive luxury one with more higher quality ingredients. Well actually no, today, you did the shop with me last night, didn't you? I was like, oh, well, as we go through it, I'll explain. Mrs. B was like, no, that's not really fair. And some of you guys have mentioned that in the past, so thank you for censoring me. Evidence. Cheap versus steep receipts, Mrs. B.
Yes.
What are the totals?
The steep was £32.74.
The whole shop, £32.
And the cheap was £13.70.
2.5 times the price difference.
That's incredible.
But remember, you don't use all of those ingredients. Some will stay in your kitchen and you can reuse them. And we have actually done an even more crazy calculation. No, it's going to be good when Barry's done his paper spreadsheet.
You love a good spreadsheet. When you've got something to show me, you're like, I've just done the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
You come and see. I'm like, can you just tell me?
Barry, it's only the school run. Okay?
I don't really need to look at the quickest route to go and how much petrol that's going to cost me. And
those that know Excel know there's nothing better than a good formula. Right, let's get going, let's get going. All right, meatballs need meat, and we're doing the cheap first. In that packet right there, from the cheap supermarket, is a mince bolognese combo. I never knew this existed. The only downside is it's 20% fat in some of the meat. So whereas with the expensive supermarket, we had to buy the pork and the beef separately, organic as well, very nice. 750 grams of the cheap is £2.99. Pork and beef together, that would work out at £6, but that's still double the price, or basically £3 more and a penny for the same amount of meat.
that's a lot more.
That's pretty meaty, isn't it? But 20% fat mince. That's gonna be a little bit dirty, isn't it? Onions from the steep, Mrs. B, they came in a pack of 2 like that.
They did, and they're large onions, firm, full of flavour for roasts and soups and stews.
So it was £1.30 for 2, so it's 65 pence for an onion.
And then this bag from the cheap supermarket, they're a bag of wonky brown onions.
Wonky onions, but there's 15 in there.
Yes.
But to bring it up to the 300 grams weight of one of these, it works out at 16 pence, but we've got to peel 5 much smaller wonky onions. So although they do work out at 4 times the price, it is quite nice to just have to chop up 1 onion. That's all I'm gonna say about that. All right, parsley. Doesn't smell of anything. So the cheap, what Mrs. B has, 30 grams is 47 pence, right? Mm-hmm. So this more expensive one, 25 grams, so less, is 75p, which is 1.9 times more in price, or for the same equivalent in weight, you would pay 43 pence more for parsley.
Yeah, it looks the same.
I reckon it might have come from the same place. Well, they look exactly the same.
They do.
For 100 grams of the cheap parmesan, that's £1.29. For the steep, it's £1.85 for 60 grams, which if you had 100 grams would be £3.08, so 2.5 times the price, or you would pay £1.80 more. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
We didn't skimp on that either. We didn't get Italian hard cheese. We got actual parmesan.
That's
nuts.
That is crazy, yeah. They smell exactly
the same. They look absolutely identical.
Yeah, the only thing, I think the mince just looks different.
Yeah.
And I think that is gonna make a difference in the taste. But saying that, normally, or sometimes you hear that things with a higher content of fat are tastier.
That's right, they are, ladies. This is the bread.
This is the last one on the shelf in the cheap supermarket.
Yeah, the lady was like, oh, it's a bit damaged. Do you want it, like, change, love? We're like, no, it's fine. It's breadcrumbs. Whereas this thing, this is a pane pugliese toasting bread made in Italy, okay?
That just looks amazing.
Look at it, yeah. I could have gone even crazy with sourdoughs, but even this price comparison is nuts.
Yeah, and then if you're getting sourdough, it's not quite the same as something very different.
This is where Mrs. B shopping with me restricted me and helped me in this process, as we'll come on to. The cheap bread, 15 slices for 55p, which works out about 3 pence for a slice of bread, We only need breadcrumbs, so 3p for our breadcrumbs. This bread is £2.40 for 6 slices, and boy are they slices.
Wow.
But one of those slices of bread is 40p. So per slice of bread, just one slice of bread, you are paying 37p more, or the overall thing, 13 times the price.
What?
That is ridiculous.
That is.
This is the most expensive breadcrumbs ever. But they do look a little bit like brioche. Ooh.
It does.
Nice. This step to make the fresh breadcrumbs, we are going to do a step called whiz and empty. Nice, a little bit of crust in there, but that's fine. So at last we are starting to get a little bit of difference in colour. No, eggs. Always a topic on cheap versus steep, particularly the brownie video when we first discovered them. When you crack into the extremely budget eggs that you can get, woo!
They are not nice.
They're not great eggs. So a lot of you have said, oh, would you mind perhaps getting the next ones up that aren't caged, free range? So we did manage to get that this time.
We did, yeah. It's from the cheap, we just went for large free range eggs.
Large free range eggs, 14p each. And the steep, we could have gone for like duck eggs and quail eggs, but Mrs. B retained me. She's like, no, stop it.
No, because then it's not
the same.
It's not the same. You need to get the same chicken eggs.
I was going crazy.
You did. And these are large free range eggs.
£3.10.
With deep brown coloured shells.
So that is still 3.7 times more, or just for one egg. And we only need the yolk. And we're not yoking around here. This is enough. 37p more per egg.
That's a lot more.
You know it's a lot more when Mrs. B waves the fringe. Well, that's not a bad colour, actually.
No, it's still pretty yellow.
It's a yolk. If you've not seen before where we bought the budget ones that come in like a huge multi-pack of 15, where it literally says, yep, these are cage eggs. The yolk can be very pale. And that's okay. That's better. Wait till you see this. Oh, wow. That's still
a big difference.
A massive difference, yeah.
Wow.
But a little bit of peace of mind that they're free range as well. So, yeah, still a huge difference in price though. We are gonna make the meatballs. Ready?
Yeah.
Hands in. Oh, wow, look. That is an actual explosion. Thank you. Yeah, so like golf ball sizes like this. There is a difference in colour in that.
Olive oil.
You did censor me massively on this one.
I did.
You really did.
I made sure that they were both olive oil because at one point in the Steep supermarket you were like, look at this crazy ass bottle. This looks so cool. It would be amazing to show on camera.
But it wasn't a bottle. It was a canister. It was like a metal barrel. It was
wasn't
amazing.
Olive oil.
It was extra virgin olive oil.
Which is different to olive oil. It's got a different taste.
Well, yeah, the younger olives, I believe. That's the virgin element.
Oh.
But for what you've got there, the cheap, for 1 litre is £2.59.
Yeah.
But this is what I was mentioning earlier. For 500ml, okay, so half of the capacity.
Yeah.
For £4.70, you've got that oil. 3.62 the price, or if you're like, hey, I need a litre of this, that would be £6.81 more to get the same amount of oil. Pouring away pound signs. So steep going down the bottom, cheap at the top. We're just going to cook them, bake them till they're brown. We could fry them, but we're going to do our sauce when we do that. We don't need to cook the spaghetti yet, but this has just been bugging me all morning. I just want to get it off my mind because I just can't understand. For 500 grams of Mrs. B's cheap spaghetti, 20p for that packet.
This is the spaghetti we normally buy.
The steep spaghetti, also 500 grams.
Right.
It's £2.50 for that spaghetti. £2.50
I bet it tastes amazing.
versus 20p.
I reckon this will taste a bit different though.
12.5 times more. 12.5 times more. It's just spaghetti, mate. I mean, there is a colour difference, isn't there?
Massive.
Let's make the sauce. We very nearly bought like a jar of store-bought, like I think it was like 30p for a huge jar, and then there was some real gourmet ones, but I think making our own could be really interesting.
Yeah, I do. I'm really intrigued with the tomatoes.
Yes.
Because normally in everyday cooking, I always buy like the cheapest tomatoes possible.
It's still tomatoes, right?
That's what I figured. So I'm, intrigued as if these are going to taste any different.
Well, how much were your tomatoes? They were, for 800 grams, 2 tins, 56p. So you are paying 4.75 times more.
Wow.
or £2.10p for this amount. If you wanted these ones rather than the cheap, you would pay £2.10p for the same amount of chopped tomatoes.
I was gonna say, is that the biggest one? But it's not, is it? It's the spaghetti was the biggest.
Yeah,
difference.
we could have gone even crazier with like flavoured tomatoes too, but this we went like for like. No plum tomatoes, just chopped tomatoes, plain. That's crazy. Garlic cloves, you get 4 each, okay? And every bulb has 10 cloves roughly. And I weighed a bulb earlier. It's actually 3 times more, or £1.61 more in price to get the equivalent weight in total. Wine, they're both 187ml. The cheap, £1.39, both red wines, and the expensive, £2.99. So only 2.15 times more, but we could have gone absolutely nuts with this, couldn't we? Like I was saying, oh, let's just get a really cheap bottle of big red wine, but then we could just go absolutely extravagant. There were some extremely expensive bottles there, which would have probably tripled the cost of the shop, but if it's just for cooking.
Just for cooking, we don't drink red wine.
Yeah, so we wanted to be fair. Sugar, granulated sugar, 1 kilogram, 65p.
Yeah.
Granulated golden castor sugar, £3 for 500 grams, okay? So if you wanted the same amount, that would be £6. 9 times more, or £4.70 if you wanted the same amount of sugar, you would pay more. And we don't really have to put sugar in this sauce.
I bet we needed a like pinch, don't we?
Yeah. Okay, this is where I'm a bit suspicious, right? Basil, 47p from the cheap.
Yeah.
75p from the steep. But again, it's that 30-25 gram ratio, and the prices are identical to the parsley. So it's again 1.9 times the price, or 43 pence more. So there, I don't know. We put my tin hat on and be like they're coming from the same. There's like something going on, isn't there?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, folks, we have just taken it up at a halfway stage. Just give that a little tip.
That is the cheap. Look, that is just sat in fat. Well, I guess it's good that it's coming out rather than staying in, right?
So it's the same oil as before. This is the steep garlic. So like about a minute or so, and then it's all gonna go into Saucy Town. I love the smell of garlic, although if we go outside after like touching it or being around it, everyone will be like, oh my gosh.
You smell.
You smell. And the garlic. Bit of tomato. Woo!
When does the wine go in?
The wine goes in now, Mrs. B, and you can drink the rest.
Yeah,
so about a third of the bottle. Ooh, the cheap was not good, but we're not done yet. Cheap and steep sugar. More steep parsley.
Your sauce looks richer in colour than mine already. And then goes the basil, the cheap.
Oh, our chopped basil. And if it starts to simmer down, which we do for sort of 10 minutes anyway, but if it gets too thick, you can add some water in. I did generally say this to Mrs. B yesterday when we were shopping. Oh, should we buy some actual bottled water from the expensive supermarket instead of using tap water?
To cook the spaghetti in, you said?
Yeah. That got dismissed. So Chloe, that is the steep and that is the cheap budget one, okay?
Okay, but I think the cheap is like really watery, and like the steep isn't as watery.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Too much wine.
All right, folks. I think we're ready.
I think so too.
We have got plates ready. Cheap, steep, extra parmesan, piping hot. So Mrs. B's doing the steep.
Oh my gosh, this is like noodles.
Oh, that's puffed up amazing. Oh, down go. That looks so much thicker and plump, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, that looks like some kind of snakes.
That is quite a big difference.
I can't believe that difference.
The cheap sauce, which smells and looks brilliant, nice and vibrant, but more watery. Although as it's cooling, it is thickening up. That looks so rich, that one. Oh! All right, meatballs are out the oven. Look at all of that fat that is in there. And as a result of the high fat content in the meat, they have shrunk massively.
Yeah, they have. Oh.
Compared to these. Look how they've held their shape and the lack of fat in the base of that pan.
Look at that size difference.
It's crazy. But I do like how it's been sat in the oil. It's fried it more and given it a real nice sort of crisper edge. That is quite naughty. Two very different priced spaghetti meatballs. But what's it going to taste like? Oh, that is really greasy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's nice, but I'm very aware that it's really oily.
Oh, that sauce is quite like tangy.
Oh yeah. Woo!
Let me try.
It's almost like fruit sauce.
I see what you mean about the meatballs. They're a bit they're all right, but they're a bit like gristly.
Yeah, but the spaghetti is what we have anyway, and it ticks the box. The only thing saving those meatballs is the slight caramelization it has had from sitting in the oil where the onions are fried a bit more and it's giving it a browner edge. They're quite bland actually, so I would season that a lot more. But it's quite oily and crumbly and yeah. Do you want to try the steep?
Yes.
Okay.
That is rich and so nice.
That is amazing.
That is really nice.
Oh my gosh. That is worlds apart, isn't
Oh my
it?
gosh.
That's so different.
Yeah. Like remarkably different.
This one
Oh my
tastes
goodness.
like
It's like rich.
it's more of tomatoes.
Yeah.
That one tastes more of wine.
That one tasted.
It tasted like fruit pie. Like someone had
That
put
was
pie
weird,
filling
had a
on
weird taste.
spaghetti, yeah.
That's amazing.
That is really
Oh my
nice.
gosh! All this time, guys, I've been depriving you.
Let's try the meatball.
We're going for
We're going for the meatball, right.
We're going with the sauce.
Oh my gosh.
That's so much nicer.
Not oily,
Goodness. There's no.
soft.
It tastes really lean.
Oh, this is a hard one. Oh my gosh.
We're not saying cheap supermarket that your food is bad. It's nice, but we like this.
Right, spaghetti. Oh wow. It's delicate. It's like eating like a pasta cloud. Oh, that is... Oh, Mrs. B, this is a tricky one.
No, it's not.
Oh, well, I know, but my aim is always that I want the budget.
You always try and do the cheap, but I don't think you can on this one.
No, you
I
can't,
really,
Daddy.
This might be the first time I've got to agree with you.
I think
Oh.
I wouldn't even substitute. Maybe the only thing I would substitute is the spaghetti.
Yeah.
I think you could get away with that, but
Yeah.
the meat and the sauce, no.
So, yeah, the meat, 100% steep. Onion, probably get away with cheap. Parsley, cheap. Parmesan, cheap. Bread, definitely cheap. The egg, I think you'd be alright with it. Yolk. Oil, yeah, probably.
I don't think that makes a difference.
Spaghetti cheap. Garlic cheap. Tomatoes.
Oh,
It's the tomatoes.
I feel awful now. That's why my tomato sauces have been tasting so bad. At the same time, although it's tasty, it's expensive for a tin of tomatoes.
It is expensive for a tin of tomatoes, but what you're looking to do is you're going to pay £2.10 more for that.
And I'm sure with an extra bit of seasoning, actually, they would probably be okay.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. But it's the meat as well.
Yeah.
But so you're looking at paying probably an extra £5 more for what we would say is the best combination. Which is a lot, actually. But I
think it
can't
is.
like the cheap meatballs were really, really bland.
But with the cost of living, it's at the minute, with
Yeah.
everything rising,
Yeah.
it's just...
That's why we're trying to do these videos to showcase that. And normally I love the cheap entirely because, in fact, is this a running thing that all the cheap stuff has higher sweetness? Because I found that with other things as well, wasn't it? It was much more like naughty and like the brownies were like ramped up, just sugar central.
And it's so bad because then you think it's affecting people's health, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's not fair. Not fair at all.
that was not a hard one to identify what works in that. And if you, oh my god, the spaghetti though, right? You can save so much by, and if you don't mind, where we went, we just crossed the road and it was like islands apart in terms of like the price, but fascinating as always. Well, there we go then, folks. Another cheap versus steep. We love doing these videos, and I think you guys tend to as well. A lot of you guys do say about getting the most expensive from the budget supermarkets, and that is quite hard to do. But if you'd like to see other variations on this, do get in touch. Or more importantly, if you've got other recipes that you'd like to see, do let us know. But please check out the other ones that we've done so far before letting us know, because we might have done it, like brownies and a cooked breakfast. Cooked breakfast was nuts. But this is probably my favourite meal so far. And a real eye-opener.
I like the pancakes.
You like the pancake? Yeah, they were. Yeah, that went crazy. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and make sure your notifications are turned on. Follow us on social media, any platform of choice, you'll probably find us there. And if you do try this, I'll put the main recipe up. Send us a photo, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. L-O-V-E is how you spell food. Gonna make some truffles to get you in the mood. To me, your support is smooth as silk. When I have my cereal, I pour on milk. If you got a food mixer, give it a whirl. I gotta let you know I'm still cooking in love with you, girl. No, there's nothing better than a good formula.